What if your neighbourhood crow is basically a feathered tiny detective? Not a dog, not a dolphin, and not your Wi-Fi fixing uncle. The real contestant today is the crow staring from the roof. Some people say crows think like children, which sounds deeply illegal. So we are giving them 5 tests against the tiny humans. Memory, tools, puzzles, social smarts, and planning will decide the winner. Crows versus toddlers. Round 1 is memory, where crows become uncomfortably personal. Crows can remember human faces, especially faces connected with danger. That means one rude afternoon can become a tiny bird case file. A toddler remembers grandma, cookies, and exactly where the remote disappeared. A crow remembers the person who threatened its nest last spring. Even stranger, other crows may learn who deserves suspicious side-eye. That is not just memory. That is neighbourhood intelligence with feathers. The comments were full of people saying, "Yes, they know me." That sentence matters because viewers are not asking only about IQ. They want to know whether the bird outside knows them back. Round 1. Memory. Round 2 is tool use, also known as birds disrespecting our superiority. Some crows use sticks to pull food from places beaks cannot reach. That is not random poking. That is a tiny engineer having Tuesday. New Caledonian crows can even shape tools before using them. A toddler gets hands, thumbs, and furniture that adults already designed. The crow gets a beak, some sticks, and 0 customer support. When it still solves the problem, the room gets very quiet. One viral comment noticed the magic was not doing one trick. It was realizing old objects might matter in the next puzzle. That turns tool use from party trick into actual problem strategy. Round 2. Tools. Round 3 is puzzle solving, where crows stop looking like normal birds. In water tests, crows dropped stones to raise floating food. They often chose sinking objects, because floating objects are useless little lies. They also preferred higher water levels, because laziness can be efficient. This is where the toddler comparison starts getting awkward for everyone. Researchers compared some crow performances with children around 5 to 7. But crows are not magical homework machines in black pyjamas. In harder hidden tube problems, they struggled more than older children. That failure is important because honest science beats bird fan fiction. The real story is not perfection. It is flexible problem solving. Round 3. Puzzles. If this crow is already winning, like before, it remembers your hesitation. Round 4 is social intelligence, where crows start managing the neighbourhood. They watch routes, routines, faces, and whatever weird things humans repeat. One comment described crows dropping nuts where royal guards always walked. That is not just nut cracking. That is exploiting predictable ape traffic. Another viewer said neighbourhood crows trained their father to crush walnuts. Human trains crow sounds heroic. Crow trains human sounds more accurate. Viewers loved these stories because they turn intelligence into relationship. A crow using you as infrastructure is both insulting and impressive. This is the part toddlers understand too. People can become tools. The difference is, The crow does it while looking extremely innocent. Social intelligence is not kindness. Sometimes it is outsourcing labour. Round 4. Social smarts. Round 5 is planning, the skill that embarrasses many grown adults. Crows hide food, remember locations, and sometimes move snacks later. If another crow watches the hiding spot, the plan may change. That suggests they track not just food, but who might steal it. Toddlers plan too, usually around snacks, naps, and forbidden cabinets. But crows can delay gratification when a better reward comes later. Some experiments gave crows a choice between instant food and future success. Many chose the tool, waited, and used it for the better prize. That is the bird version of ignoring fries for a steak dinner. The brain reason is strange. Birds lack a mammal-style cortex. But their pallium circuitry can still organize information in powerful ways. They also pack many neurons into a very small command center. Round 5. Planning. So, what should you do with this suspiciously competent bird knowledge? First, do not threaten nests, chicks, or adults protecting territory. Second, observe patterns instead of assuming every core is drama. Third, if local rules allow feeding, keep it small and consistent. Do not turn wildlife into pets, because clever is not domesticated. The best relationship is predictable, respectful, and slightly supervised by feathers. Basically, be the neighbour they can recognise without filing a complaint. What to do? Now the honest part. Crows are not smarter than toddlers overall. Toddlers win language, imagination, emotional bonding, and human culture easily. A crow cannot ask why 16 times before breakfast. It also cannot negotiate bedtime like a tiny courtroom attorney. But intelligence is not one ladder with humans politely standing on top. It is a toolbox, and crows carry a shockingly good kit. The honest verdict. Maybe that is why people love crow stories so much. They make intelligence feel less like a ranking and more like recognition. A crow remembers a face, a route, a kindness, or a walnut arrangement. That is why one tiny gift in a beak can make people emotional. It feels like the wild noticed you, then answered politely. Why we care. So, are crows smarter than toddlers? Sometimes in very specific tests. They are not human smart. They are crow smart, which is enough trouble. Next time one watches you, assume the meeting has been documented. Comment your crow story, especially if one has already trained you. Crow smart.